podcast is a member of WildGamesProductions.com and D20Radio.com.
They came from the game table, dice bags in hand,
We have one brain that we share between us.
to talk about role-playing for all across the land.
And you'll like it.
The original, then basic, then one they scoured,
Kinda grabs you by the boo-boo, don't it?
to bring AD&D to the second power.
You want me to put the hammer down?
Welcome to THACO's Hammer, the best damn AD&D second edition podcast ever.
Guess we can do this. Yes, sirree, Bob. Hiya, folks. Old man Grognard here, also known as Smokestack Jones, and DM Glen. How about that?
There you go.
Welcome to THACO's Hammer. Like I said, I'm DM Glen, and this is DM Brian.
Cover those bases, Glenn. Hey, folks, what's going on out there?
Well, I got a big enough butt. I can probably do it. And DM Full On Gamer.
Greetings, Gamer Nation. We come to you live from all across America.
Like I said, I have a big butt. Anyway.
And you cannot lie.
And I cannot lie. Let's go to hits. I cannot lie. Let's go to hits and grits.
Well,
One thought he was invincible, the other thought he could fly.
so
They were both wrong.
Son of a bitch is dug in like an Alabama tick.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
We're sending somebody in to negotiate.
anybody else want to negotiate?
Hits and crits. All right, hits and crits. Yeah. Go, Brian.
Oh, let's see.
My brain's a little foggy today.
It's okay. It's okay. You're justified. Let's see. Let's see. I've been just working a lot. I've gotten a massive increase in hours for my second job. So what little free time that I have had has been cut by 2/3. Let's see. My son.
So I'll be editing some of the shows. So if they sound kind of funky,
Yeah, they're going to be
blame
different.
me.
Yeah, they're
You're
going
gonna
to be
blame
different
me.
bumpers for sure. Because Glenn doesn't like my bumpers.
Well, you know how long it's been since I listened to the show.
It hasn't changed, I can tell you that.
Well,
But
neither.
if you
neither has-
need, I still have your bumpers, Glenn. So if you need them, just let me know. I'll put them in. The
I got him.
Okay.
Well, Radio Grognard never changes either, but you know.
Oh, that's true. At this point, I think you've surpassed number of episodes for this podcast.
Like today's was tomorrow's is 567.
Oh my God.
It's a daily thing.
Yeah, that's
You know.
true. Well, that means you've been at it for what?
I'm
a little less
the
than 3 years.
I'm the Paul Harvey of role-playing games.
And now you know
And
the rest
remember-
of the story.
And remember, he's dead.
Yeah, I know he is. Oh, okay. I just put out episode 20, I just put out episode 20 of my podcast, Confessions of an Arcade Addict. I recorded episode 21 2 weeks ago, but I'm really unhappy with how it came out, so I'm going to redo it. Then
All the farting in the background,
no,
probably.
you have no idea. I mean, between coughing jags and just not being able to focus on the Wikipedia information I was reading about a certain game or a certain gaming system, I was making mistakes like literally every 10 seconds.
Okay.
So-
Well, you want to see mistakes? Watch my YouTube review videos.
Jeez, I can only imagine. So yeah, I'm gonna redo that and probably record episode 22 right behind it, just so that I'm current. Let's see. RPG wise, I've been still going through my NPCs and giving them full write-ups. Half of it's from them. It's to the point now where I've got so many of these characters fully fleshed out that now I've got the crazy idea to actually start writing stories about them. I'm talking like novel-sized stories, because I've got like all of these, all these personality clashes. Now I understand what all the great fantasy writers go through, and how they talk about how they have conversations with the characters in their head to find out what they would do in a particular situation, rather than the author just thinking, no, that's what he would do. Then, of course, the character in the back of their head goes, no, fool, this is what I would do. Stuff like that. I get it now. I didn't get it before. I thought they were borderline crazy, but now I understand.
I understand. Yeah, I guess I've never had that happen, because it's like, oh, this is a great thing. I should do this story. Mm-hmm. And then I just look at it, mm-hmm. and nothing happens.
Yeah, I started one. Uh-huh. And it's with like four NPCs that I've done full write-ups on. I'm trying uh-huh. to tell the story of how one came to be, and then the other three are like this like adventuring quote unquote team, and they end up meeting, and they're going to try to right a wrong and that kind of thing. I mean, I've still got the ideas in the back of my head somewhere, but yeah, with how things have been going on the work front, yeah, I don't have time to sit there in front of a.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Microsoft Word and actually flesh it out. I mean, what I really need to do is just do a rough outline of how the story's going to go, and then I can just come back to it later. Let's see. Aside from that, just going to arcades for my podcast, and taking care of my son, and just trying to keep the bills paid as always. That's me.
Sounds like fun. Well, when I was growing, when I first started working, I'd been doing shows in like high school and a little bit of college, and then I started working a full-time job, and it's like, Glennie, when's your next show? I said, I don't know. I'm sitting on the couch watching TV. I'm too friggin' exhausted. You fall into that trap real easy.
Oh yeah, it's so easy to fall into. It's not even funny. I can't even think about how
you work 8 to 10 hours and you're just exhausted, and all you want to do is shove some food in your mouth, sit in front of the TV, and then go to bed.
Yeah, just veg out for a while and go to bed. Yeah, it's true. And it's partially my fault too, because I'm still playing BattleTech and I'm having so much fun, and it's such a release and escape for me from the rigors of real life that I stay up until like 2-3 o'clock in the morning some days.
Uh-huh. Gotcha.
When I have to be up at like 8 o'clock to get my son off to school.
Understood.
Yeah,
understood. Hey, full on, you got any better life than us? What's going on?
Well, when I go into the binge mode of watching stuff, I try to watch all of it. So I got through all 4 seasons of The Expanse. Good, classic, hard sci-fi. Kind of like watching a Traveler game play out.
Yeah,
very nice. I got through all of The Witcher. Just finished that this morning. Also, really good. It's kind of like, without breaking a fourth wall, if you were watching adventurers play a game. And my brain is bent enough that I understand fully that you're watching a thing happen with different timelines that sort past, future, with no indication of which one you're in until you just see them slowly growing together. Yeah. I don't mind that, because I can follow the entire Terminator timeline. The entire Terminator timeline.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
But I don't have a problem with that.
Fun?
Picard, started checking that out, having fun with that. That's not bad. There's just a bunch of stuff that I was cruising through in that. Got my WoW up and running again on my computer so I could see what's going on with the new races that they brought into it. So if you want cyber gnomes, they have those. If you want little fox people, they have those too. So that's an available option for play. And of course, just whacking things left, right, and center there, or in Star Wars: The Old Republic is always fun. So carry on and enjoy.
Whacking things? Oh,
killing things.
Hey,
I was thinking of something else.
Kick the Jawa, kick the Jawa, kick the Jawa. But
don't kick the baby. Yeah.
Still waiting for the opportunity to talk shop with you guys about the Rise of Skywalker, the Mandalorian. Have you met your obligations to watch that stuff yet?
How do I have the time? I just broke down. Broke down what I've got going on.
No.
I mean, I still have the last.
Rise, yes.
I still have the Last Jedi on my DVR. I'm only about 5 minutes into it, and I've not had the time to sit down and watch more. Now, am I fighting a little bit of apathy when it comes to that? Yes, I will be honest about it. But when I say I have very little free time, I mean it. I mean, let's put it this way. I had to do I had to go to an arcade on last Saturday, and for my own show, and I basically had to sandwich it in between the two jobs I had to do last week, because I had my main job I had to do for 3 hours, then I had to do home care for Allie for another 2.5. So in between the two, I was like, okay, let me sneak off to Detroit and let me see what this place is about. By the way, it's a hole in the wall, it's a dive, but I like it. So yeah, I mean, this is my life now. I mean, like today, I have a day off from everything today, and all I want to do is, record an episode with you guys and nothing else.
Well, this falls into the category of and nothing else. You sit down, you open up your tablet, your phone, your TV, whatever, you switch it to the channel, and you veg for a while. That's the purpose of the escapist show. Watch it, enjoy it, relax.
I'm trying, sir. It's not easy with an autistic 5-year-old either. An autistic hyperactive 5-year-old.
Point them at the Mandalorian and let them go, ooh, Baby Yoda. Same thing will work.
Yeah, just put. Oh goodness, he'd want a figurine of that. I know he would. Anyway,
then you go in the other room and watch what you want.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, well he's currently in the living room on my main computer, which he almost destroyed by spilling milk into the tower, by the way. Yeah. Trust me, I wasn't happy about that, but fortunately, I just took it all apart, cleaned some things, put it back together, and it works like a charm. God bless that computer. I've had it for 10 years. Yeah. So, yeah, yeah. It's just interesting. But yeah, I'm going to take your advice, Full-On. You know what? You're absolutely right. So yes, I will try to get The Last Jedi done this weekend. Hopefully I can get it, watched, because it's on network TV, so I have to, cut through commercials and all that crap and nonsense. So I will try to get it done. The Mandalorian, we'll see. We'll see about that, and we'll just go from there. I'm waiting for The Rise of Skywalker to come on demand so I can get it.
Has the Star Wars fandom ever considered that Rise of Skywalker kind of sounds like a porn film?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Well, when Star Wars, never mind. I could talk about a certain. Never mind. I'm not going to go down that road. I'm trying to keep us off the adult list.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
I almost did.
But everybody
stupid.
makes the jokes, like on that '70s show when Fez was talking about, I can't wait to go for us to go see Star Wars.
Star
Wars, Fez.
Oh my God.
Star Wars.
Oh, Fez. Oh, Fez. Anyway. Okay,
stuff.
So Glenn, what are you up to?
About 6'6".
Yeah, you're a tall drink of water. We know.
I'm a tall, fat drink of water. Not so fat, actually. I was so surprised. I usually average around 326, 327.
Wow.
And I went to the doctor last week at 312.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Keep going in that direction, sir.
Yeah, it's Becky. Becky said, "Yeah, you're pre-diet. I don't like the way you're doing it, though." It's like,
yes, from what you told me, I can understand her concern.
Yeah, but let's see. Been playing games. My first month of a year of no fantasy has worked out all right.
No running fantasy. You'll play it. You just don't want to run it.
No running fantasy, and. Yeah, but people keep throwing me fantasy books to review. That's the problem.
That's because that's where most of the bread is buttered, Glenn.
I know. But I've been preparing. I read some Gangbusters, which is good. But I've also been preparing to run some Savage Worlds because I got the the Explorer edition, the new one.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the picture on Facebook.
I've got it now, and so I'm pulling out. I'm going to be running the Goon for Savage Worlds. Real easy conversion. I mean, I can probably run this, no problem. But I have yet. The group is still trying to recover from my friend Jimbo, where we play, and his wife having twins.
Whoa.
We played once or twice, but it's like I offer my house, and people said, "Okay, we can go over to Glenn's house when they're." See, she wants everybody to have a flu shot, and Gage doesn't have a flu shot.
Yeah,
and he's not.
He's not sick. I get it.
He's not. Well, his mother is totally anti-vax, so he can't do it. And so I said, well, why don't we just, every other week, let's go over to my house so Gage can play. And they said, okay. And then we're playing over Jimbo's. And then we're not playing over at my house because it always like either the day before or like the hour before, people start, I got to take care of the kids. Oh, I got to work late. Oh, I got to this. It's like, what is my house cursed or something?
No, it's adulting, man. Adulting
I know
sucks most of the time.
I know. I want to say this despite I know the logic of it, okay? Yeah. Because, I understand, but it's still frustrating.
Oh, I get it. It's one of those things where, we just, that's why there are like 50,000 memes of it on Facebook about how
I understand. I understand that. I'm saying I'm not stupid. I understand that.
I know.
But
I'm agreeing with you,
But
Glenn.
it's gotten to the point. This has happened like 5 times. It's gotten to the point where it's like, if you guys didn't want to come to Edmond, you should have told me up front instead of, well, I know you're not making excuses and all, but at the same time.
Yeah, it gets frustrating.
I clean the house, I get the stuff ready, and then like an hour before, I
remember what it was like gaming in Oklahoma. We had trouble sometimes getting people down weekly from Chickasha to Lawton, so it happens.
Understood. Yeah, but you got to understand, I took my monthly shower for you guys. I told that to Becky. I told that to Becky. She says, "I hope you're kidding."
Yes.
I look at her, maybe.
Doesn't she know by now that she married a goofball?
Yeah. I mean, I'm fortunate. It takes a lot. I go, I can go a long time because I won't stink until like she finally says something maybe a month and a half later.
Oh, geez.
Because it takes my body. I have no body odor, basically. Yeah. I mean, I put on deodorant just for show, I think. So anyway, that's how our game's going. Let's see, what else am I doing? I'm consolidating my notes for all my systems in these new books I'm making, faux leather compo books, different colors. I keep saying I'm going to sell them, then I look at them and go, no, I'm not going to sell these. These look like shit, but
hey, they're not
crap.
That bad.
All right, let's say crap, okay? So I'm getting ready for the Savage Worlds thing. I've got a game I've already play tested it for the con, so I got to get that going. Got save the money for the con, the thing, buying new movies all the time, and that's pretty much me. I've got a whole shelf full of Mill Creek crappy movies that I can go through.
Yeah, you'll have no shortage of schlocky entertainment. Yes.
Yes, I seem to be alternating between the chop sake martial arts stuff and the spaghetti western stuff.
Nothing wrong with that. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good adventure idea mining. That's for
It
sure.
is. I just watched God's Gun the other day with Lee Van Cleef and Jack Palance.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Lee Van Cleef playing twin brothers.
Wow. Hey.
Yeah. It wasn't bad. I mean, I could tell that, Jack Palance was. Richard Boone was in it as the drunken sheriff. But from what I understand, he walked in the middle of the picture because he said these guys don't know what they're doing. In fact, that wasn't even they dubbed over his voice with another actor because he wasn't even come in for that.
Wow.
It was like, don't you love it when you see these established actors, these spaghetti westerns and stuff or horror films, and somebody else is doing their voice.
Yep. Yeah, it does happen.
Yeah, and it's like it's a little jarring at first. Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
that's not his voice. Then all of a sudden you realize.
Yeah. I watched this one called Beyond the Law, another Lee Van Cleef one, and from what I understand, they actually gave you the full version. But anyway, this is Beyond the Law. So they put the scenes back in. They cut out for America, but they didn't dub them. So you're watching, and all of a sudden, a scene comes up, and they're speaking Italian with subtitles. And then it'll go back the next scene into the irregular dub.
Wait a minute. They'll go into a scene, and they'll be speaking Italian, but dubbing it in English, or
yes.
not dubbing, or excuse me, subtitling in English. Then they'll go back to the English dub in the next.
Right.
Scene. Oh.
Right. They just put the scenes as we'll just subtitle it.
Oh my god! My brain would be bent. I'm like, what? I'd be like, huh? What is going on here?
Oh.
What? It's like when they suddenly start speaking Klingon and then they go into speaking Basic. You can have a thing with dubbed and subbed simultaneously, trading in and out depending on what they're talking about. I mean, they did it with the friggin' elves.
I mean, it was only 2 or 3
Lord
scenes,
of the Rings.
But yeah, it's only 2 or 3 scenes, but still, It's kind of, but Beyond the Law, check it out. It's a really good one. Really good one.
All right, I'll
leave it. Anyway, so that's me. So let's do some email.
Okay.
How about some emails?
I got a couple of emails here. We got one that's been sitting in the box for a little bit, but I figured I might as well get it out. Let's see if you remember what he's talking about, because this email is almost 4 years old. This should be interesting. Okay, this is from DM Ted.
This is why you recorded.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah. It's okay.
I'd lose.
You lose what?
Lose the emails or something. Yeah.
Oh no, I hold on. I check them like once every couple of weeks, and if something comes through that I think should be on the show, I just mark it as important. That's all. There are some that were not quite so important, so they've been languishing in our mailbox for some time. They're a little musty. Okay, here we go. This is from DM Ted. He says, "Hey gents, it seemed to be a running theme in a few recent episodes. He's talking about 117 and 118 on Glen's part. He stated in both episodes and was corrected by Full On and Brian that Palladium tended to have separate systems for the same results in some cases. Yeah, remember when we were on that discussion about...
And I still believe that.
Good. I'm glad to know you remember this a little bit. Okay. Brian and Full On corrected Glenn, but I believe he may be correct here. Specifically with regard to Hero Unlimited's game character generation system.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I had Heroes Unlimited for a little while, and I was creating characters.
Every character a subsystem.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, the funny part is Marvel Superheroes is just like that, just not to that extent. He says, in a game like the TSR's Marvel Superheroes, character generation is a fairly flat system. I would disagree if you bring in the Ultimate Powers book. If you do it out of the rule book,
even without the Ultimate Powers book, if you happen to get the unique sets of roles, you can end up with, the Aunt May that kills the Beyonder with the frying pan because she's got, class 5,000 beyond, whatever. So you can't just say that it's flat unless you are artificially skewing the numbers because we're playing the low-power henchling game. Oh, that's the other thing. I also watched Titans this week, so that was also fun to get knocked out. Interesting take. Okay. No, seriously, interesting dark take.
Hey, did they? By the way, did they cancel Doom Patrol?
I don't know if they canceled it. They've got a whole season of it out, and they're idling their way through these seasons. One then another. Right? They're relating them to each other, so we'll see how they tie up.
Okay, I like Doom Patrol. Anyway, you were saying? You were saying,
yes.
Right?
No, he was saying. Continue with the question. There was the issue about these systems, and
all right. Every type of character can be created essentially in the same manner. I will agree with that, but if you run it straight out of the rule book, it doesn't.
Which most people do.
Yeah, it doesn't get too crazy unless you start rolling 99s and aughts all over the place. If you get into the Ultimate Powers book, yeah, it can get real crazy real fast if you roll good, like Falon said. Roll race class, roll stats, roll number of powers, talents, contacts, determine popularity, resources, and derived attributes. It doesn't matter where your powers come from. All heroes roll against the same power determination tables. In theory, you can build Iron Man or Wolverine with that set of rules. Yeah, you can do it fairly easily, too. Without adding an additional set of powers or any completely separate rules. Yes, the table you roll on changes, but it's the same process with every character. This is generally how it works in other Palladium games, especially if you have most of your experience with Rifts or Robotech. Roll attributes, pick an OCC, pick skills, fill in bonuses. Heroes Unlimited, as of the mid to late 90s versions, is really uneven when it comes to both character generation and power.
Or like unwieldy.
Yeah, for sure. In some cases, you have, due to laziness on the part of Kevin Siembieda?
Siembieda.
Okay, thank you. I could never pronounce his name. Thank you. Due to laziness on his part, systems literally copied and pasted from other games into the core game. Biotics rules are taken from Mechanoids. Magic rules are taken from the Palladium Fantasy RPG, which was actually fun to play. I will say that. I played that for a little bit. Mutant Power... Go ahead.
This is why everybody's jumping over to Savage Worlds to play Rifts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it can get really, really crazy, really, really fast. It's true.
Leave my great horned hatchling trained by a Zentradi female war master alone, damn you!
Yeah, for sure. Oh my God.
I'm still trying to get over Aunt May with a frying pan.
Yeah, smacking the Beyonder in the head. Yeah. Let's see.
You want a more realistic take on that? The Ultimate Spider-Man, when he was part of the Avengers, her telling off JJJ.
Mm-hmm. Well, somebody needed to.
That on the phone, and it ended with, "Oh, by the way, Hitler wants his mustache back."
Somebody had to tell.
Totally, and that's right after she totally got into Logan's face about Hassel and Peter.
Hey. Hey, when you can basically beat down almost anybody of the main established characters, yeah, you can get in people's faces and tell them, hey, you guys are being pricks. Anyway, okay, to continue. Mutant powers are unique to Heroes Unlimited. Mutant animal rules.
They are not.
Well, that's what he says. You can disagree. I never got into it enough to be able to disagree, so I will leave it at that.
Well, I went through the book and I just said, there's too many subsystems, and I just didn't look any further. So
it gets a little crazy. I won't deny it. Mutant animal rules are adapted from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. In each case, you have a different procedure to build each character type. In some cases, those differences are minor, but in others, it is substantially more complex. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. To continue. They result in characters that are incredibly uneven in terms of power, as none of these systems were built with balance in mind. Now, I will say this, because of how when we did our erstwhile Marvel game, and how everybody's character came out.
Yes.
There were a couple of players that had really strong and powerful characters, like Corey's, who was like a Mesopotamian minor god, I believe.
Well, flying around on a throne. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. And then there was Allie, who was just basically a really highly trained normal human. And then there was Full-On, who had like corruption power, but was very weak physically. Yeah.
Oh, don't get on him. Yeah. And then I had the anthropomorphic dog who was a private eye.
Yeah. Hey. There's nothing wrong with a motley crew.
How is this different than, say, the origins of the Avengers? couple of trained humans, a couple of powered humans, a couple of accident mutants, a couple of gods, you know,
no, you're
a couple
right.
guys with really, really big wallets, and
No, yeah, when you think about the original Avengers were Iron Man, Captain America, the Hulk. Thor wasn't part of it yet. It was the Wasp. He was an original. I'm talking about the Avengers way back in the '60s, not the modern.
I know. I read the first issue. Yeah, I know.
Okay, so Thor was a part of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then you had Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think that was the original crew.
That's the original crew. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, Full-On.
They just took Stan Lee and Jack Kirby just took a handful of heroes that they already had, threw them in the book. Boom, there's the Avengers.
Yep, for sure. Let's see, where was
I? Like DC never did that with JL.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Justice League.
No, Teen Titans was more hodgepodge.
Yeah.
Teen Titans when they came out back in the mid '80s. Yeah.
I love when people show like covers of their books and stuff from the mid '80s, the late '80s, because I could. Oh my God! Really?
Mm-hmm.
I said yes. Starfire. What? See, I told you, Starfire was hot.
Yes.
She was
incandescent.
She was not animeized at that time.
Not even close. No, she was
stripperific.
Oh yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. There are only like one or two Marvel characters that could even come close to her as far as that look went.
That's true.
But then all of a sudden, in the middle to late '80s, like every female Marvel character had to look like that. Every last
Which is
one.
okay.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't have a problem with it. Shoot, I was 1985. I was 17. Or no, 17. So yeah, I was good with it. Anyway,
I made a mental list of the Marvel and DC chicks I'd like to. Anyway, but that's
yeah. We'll talk about that later.
Penis.
Yeah, for sure. You're gonna be editing this later. One, Glenn, so I don't know how you're gonna handle it.
Oh, you're giving me 154.
Yeah,
let's go on.
Anyway.
Let's move on.
Yes,
let's move on.
Let's move on. Let's see. Let's see. Where was I? Okay. It definitely feels like an odd mix of subsystems when a Biox character could take hours to generate, and that's true because I remember one of my co-players having that issue, while a physical training hero takes minutes. It feels more broken when the alien or mutant hero can effortlessly beat either one of those characters in a tiny fragments.
It's true.
It's very true. Since Glenn's a Champions guy, I have to guess this is where he came up with that impression. Just wanted to pipe in as I initially agreed with Full-On and Brian as well as Glenn and Glenn deserves some vindication. Thanks, DM Ted.
I'll take it.
I kind of figured you would.
Thank you, Ted.
You got
well,
justified.
We know that they have different power levels because that's the whole point. Mm-hmm. There are things that just don't stand next to each other, but that's also why you have the variety, so that you don't have the smacking you don't smack the ant with the 10-ton hammer. You can get a little bit of scale when you're dealing with situations that run the whole gamut.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's a good one, Full-On. That's funny. Oh, Booster Gold. Oh, what a complete goofball he was. Anyway.
Yeah. I noticed, I watched, I see clips of Justice League action and the other Justice League and stuff. Mm-hmm. I noticed that Justice League has an overabundance of, I don't know, goofball, immature, and just plain dudes in the group. Mm-hmm. And I have a feeling they're only there for Batman to react to.
Yeah,
I mean, look at the Flash, look at Booster Gold, look at Plastic Man, look at these guys who were like dudes and just kind of borderline irresponsible. Mm-hmm. just for Batman to go, "You're not being professional enough."
Yep.
They're just to irritate. See, they're there just to irritate Batman.
Mm-hmm. Oh, speaking of that, I was listening to a podcast by Michael Rosenbaum, the guy who played Lex Luthor in Smallville, and he interviewed the actress who played the Arrow's daughter, and they were talking about the Crisis of Infinite Earths crossover. And
that was fun. It is watchable, and they go. You need to watch that just to see if they pull everything from everything into their concept of the DC Infinite Verse.
Two words for
you. The Arrowverse, the Flat.
No, I mean they pull Smallville. They pull Doom Patrol. They pull everything.
The Arrowverse. What's the word?
What's the word? Two words for you. Kevin Conroy.
I know. I should be watching that. I was very disappointed they didn't yank Mark Hamill too.
Yeah, they should have gotten him, but he was probably too busy shooting Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. Anyway,
could be.
Okay, so.
Mr. Skywalker couldn't work it into his schedule.
Yeah, considering what he got paid, probably not.
And I've been watching clips from that Harley Quinn show. That is a very funny show.
Mm-hmm.
And it has its new movie coming out next week.
Yep.
Oh, another Suicide Squad?
The Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Harley Quinn is your Captain America out of that crew. Think about that.
They let her out of Arkham to do that?
Yes, they did. Yeah, she even broke up with Joker, I think. That was in the trailer, I think, where she broke up with him.
That's because she hated Jared Leto. But no, seriously, the actor who played Harley, it's like he got so weird on her. It's like, I'm not acting with him again.
Yeah, I believe it.
Anyway.
Yeah, everyone. Well, let me put it this way. First it was Heath Ledger who did a great job as a complete psychopathic Joker. Then Jared Leto had to top that. And then Joaquin Phoenix had to top that. So it's like, when does it end? Why can't you guys just play a good Joker instead of trying to reset the bar? Because the next actor that comes along that has to play it, now all of a sudden he's got this ridiculously impossible legacy to live up to.
Well, there's some few of us who know that Hamill is the only Joker. Even though his voice is starting to age.
Yeah, Mark Hamill.
I mean, I saw The Killing Joke, and that's one of the things I noticed was like, your voice is aging, dude. Conroy still sounds the same. It's weird.
Well, I think you want to know what I think that's his actual voice. I honestly believe that. Holy crap, Mark Hamill is going to be 69 this year.
Good for him.
My God. He doesn't look it. Then again, he's always looked like, back when he was doing A New Hope, he looked like he was 15 when he was like 18.
Okay, that's why he grew the beard. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I see him on talk shows where he does it. I love the way he does a dead-on impersonation of Harrison Ford.
Mm-hmm. I believe that.
Anyway, so let's
that's because Harrison Ford used to mess with him back in the day. He's got to get his own back.
Hey, kid. And let us pull back from the geek out.
Yes,
and get back to thank you, Ted.
Yes, thank you, Ted.
Got another one?
Yeah, I've got one. It's a little bit long, but we'll go with it. This is from, I want to say it's DM Leodin or Leodin, something like that. Leodin.
We're calling you Leo.
Yeah, Leo. DM Leo. That works for me. Okay. He says, love the show, guys. I found your show one day, and I'm seriously thinking about firing up a campaign with my brothers, cousins, and wife. I haven't played in years, but I still have all my books.
We may all be related by the end of it, yeah. Still be related.
Oh, it's going to be one of those kind of games. Okay, I see.
I don't know you. You killed my character. I don't know you. Ouch. You're not my brother anymore.
Okay, I've already started retooling my old campaign, and my character is going to be 20 years older and at the level at which we stopped playing. He is a fighter mage half-elf. I use the town of High Moon and Deepingdale in the Realms as the base of the adventure, and I'm going to place the return to the Borderlands there with some tweaks of my own. That's actually a really good idea. It's one of the best ways to get your character from level 1 to 15. You know, let's see. Old PCs. I can't talk. This is the problem I was having. Old PCs as NPCs and quests, they will come from that as they venture on. Okay, his diction's a little weird. I think he was probably doing a voice thing because the sentences are strange.
I was going to say drunk.
I just wanted to throw a story out to you guys because you asked a while back about stories on the deck of many things. Oh, okay, that's right. This is what this is about. I actually saved the party one night with it by talking my way through a dragon fight when he had the group pinned in a room that we had accidentally stumbled into. I was able to convince the dragon to a parlay, but on the terms of being able to increase its wealth and power. The dragon bought into it, and I don't remember which color it was, but it was one that would talk to you if given a chance. Let's see, that's blue. That's blue. That's green. Black. Well, red and white. Well, red, half and half. White, no. White will just try to kill you. Okay. I told it that if it drew cards from this deck, it would become more powerful, and after about 20 minutes, I was able to convince it to let me show it. I had to draw the first card, which was a gamble because we'd already lost a party member to it, but I drew a card that granted a magical item. Now, knowing our DM, he knew the party was a greedy group and actually used a set of cards to draw from instead of rolling to add to the element. Ooh, so he actually pulled out an actual set of cards to do it. That's the best way to do it. Okay. Let's see. He set the deck up on the last pull to grant 2 gold, 2 good and 1 bad. Okay, yeah, he did use voice to text because voice to text does this kind of stuff. This was the first good one. Showed the dragon the item that appeared and immediately drew a card and doubled its wealth. I could see the former DM getting annoyed because I told the dragon the deck would be his and sorry for the inconvenience of wandering into his home to okay. And sorry for the inconvenience of wandering into his home. The dragon let us pass and then drew another card. It drew the void.
Ooh.
Oh, that's fantastic. As soon as we saw it fall to the ground unconscious, I ran up to the dragon and pulled a king from... Wait a minute. Oh, I pulled a king from Dragon Slayer and yelled, "All hail Leonin, Slayer of the Dragon," put my sword through its spine and its neck. Oh, I remember seeing a picture of the king for Dragon Slayer.
Yeah.
Oh, that was such a letdown.
A lot of fun.
He pulled a Malik and Conan the Destroyer. After Conan did all the work.
So
yeah, that was the
decks are fun.
Yeah, there's tension that goes on with it. Yeah.
Well, Astonishing Swordsman, we have the bubbles of many things.
The bubbles of many things?
Yeah, well, it's this machine that made bubbles in this one room, kind of an artifact thing that you pop one, then it's like doing a deck of many things. And, of course, Gage did it like 3 times.
Of course he did.
And he was like, he turned blue. He got turned blue. He turned evil and stuff like that. And finally he popped one. He got a wish. And right out of the gate, the kid knows how to play wishes. And he said, "I wish that we rewind time back to before I walked in this room."
Yep. And that's the best way to do it.
And it worked. I was like, or rather, before I start popping the bubbles. So he's still in the room. So it's like everything reset. Thank you, Gage. I mean, 60 years old. He already knows how to work wishes.
Hey, kid's a natural.
Kid's a natural.
He comes by it honestly.
Well, that didn't go well. Let's go back to the save game and try again.
Exactly. Let's reload the save. Yeah, let's restart the mission. Yes. Oh, that's funny.
There we go on. And so he became a dragon slayer because of the deck of many things.
Yep, because of the deck of many things.
Very nice.
Convinced the dragon, because of its greed, to draw that from the deck one more time.
You just made my day. First, I'm going to sleep a little easier because the last person, vindicated me somewhat. Now I'm going to have nice memories while I dream. So thank you.
There you go.
As opposed to sitting down in Ravenloft with a deck of many things and having the gypsy madam actually do tarot for you from the deck of many things.
Oh my God!
Not the Taroka deck, the deck of many things.
No. There is a tarot deck of many things. There is.
Oh, I know. But
yeah, and I've seen some of the effects, and oh my God,
that's different than the. Draw one card, alternate. I'm gonna state you draw 3 cards, state you draw 4 cards, whatever. That's what you get. This was slam, and mix.
Yeah.
I gotta go back.
Sorry.
Time to yank the Encyclopedia Magica out again.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they got it in there. I mean, it's a full tarot deck with effects for if the card is upright or inverted. You want upright all the time. If you get one that's inverted, you have big problems because it's pretty nasty. It's pretty nasty.
Yeah, I had a DM who went for he handcrafted his own expansion to the deck of many things, called it the deck of many things and everythings, where he added 2 complete suits. The suit of blood and the suit of iron, on top of all of the traditional face card elements. So it got a little weird.
And if you're saying it got a little weird, to the most of us, it got very weird.
Believe me,
why they are dangerous things that I avoid like the plague.
Mm-hmm. You see a deck of cards, you don't want to mess with it. You find a case, you pick up the deck, and you put the cards away, and you save it for such emergencies like this.
You save it for such things like, I'm going by Mount Doom. I think I'll just throw it in.
Yeah, you find an active volcano. Yeah, throw those cards in there because you don't want to mess with them.
Mind you, moose bites can be pretty nasty. Anyway, there's your one per show Monty Python reference. Anyway, thank you, Leo. Thank you for that amusement. And you folks can also, what can they do? Well, they can write us actually.
Yes.
At thacoshammer@gmail.com, or they can call us too.
That number is 405-806-0555.
Because the 2 cans with a string is out of order.
Yes. Doesn't work quite so well in wintertime. It's true.
Have you ever done that? I've
done that.
You have? I've never done that. I never knew if it worked or not.
Yeah. I think I was maybe about 11 or 12 years old with me and my best friend growing up, the person for whom my son is named. Yeah, we actually got a can. We got 2 cans with the string. We nailed the string to the thing, and we went between our houses, which was kind of difficult because both of our rooms were on the second floor of the house, of our respective houses.
Oh, boy.
We're about, I'd say probably about 75 feet apart.
Here, catch!
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. Yeah, it took us a little while, but yeah, it worked, kind of, sort of.
Okay. Anyway, let us move on to option package.
Which one is it? You must choose. Choose wisely.
Maybe something bad? Maybe something good? choice.
You chose poorly.
Option package. DM's option high-level campaigns. You're talking about the book or just the general high-level campaigns topic?
No, the book.
The actual black book.
Yeah, this is the last of the black splat books that we
I
cover.
never bought that book.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I did because, on the
I had the 3 players option, but I never had that one.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm one of the apparently increasingly rare DMs that will actually run a campaign for as long as my players want to play it. If they want to stop at level 10 and get their strongholds and retire and start over, I will just look at them inside and I will comply with their wishes. But if they want to keep it going and they want to, face greater dangers and higher stakes and all things that go along with that, I am more than happy to do that.
Well, at the end of that 2-year campaign, the 5e campaign we did, we were all level 20 and retired. And Carlos, who was the DM, looked like he lost about 15 pounds. Tried to keep up with us.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what this book is about. And not only is it just about that, it also codifies some rules that needed to be codified. For example, I was on Facebook a couple of days ago, and somebody said, somebody asked the question, is it okay for a mage character to just automatically start rememorizing spells after he's done? And I told him no. I mean, I knew the rule. You have to have 8 hours of uninterrupted rest in order to have the mental clarity to memorize spells. And each spell will take 10 minutes per spell level. And on top of that, then they threw in another rule on top of that you can only memorize spells for 8 hours at a time. Otherwise, you just start getting mentally fatigued. So if you're a 23rd or 24th level mage who has completely gone through his retinue of spells, it's going to take you probably about 3 or 4 days to rememorize all of your spells, because it's just going to take that long.
Now, this book.
Yes.
I just want to ask this book.
Mm-hmm.
I don't suppose Frank Mincer had anything to do with this book.
No, he did
not. This is a Skip Williams book.
Yeah, Skip Williams. Actually, Janelle GK's had some things to do with this book.
I was surprised. Well, then again, he probably wasn't a TSR at that time, but because he's like, Frank Mincer, as far as I know, is Mr. High Level. He loves running.
Oh, yeah.
High-level campaigns.
Absolutely. That's why he does Beck Me, because that's the ultimate high-level game when you think about it.
Wrath of the Immortals was his baby.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, him and Bruce Hurd, for sure. Let's see. So, I mean, I've just been leafing through it a little bit. It's been a long time since I've actually read this book from cover to cover. But yeah, it goes into, sort of giving the DM a refresher on how to run enemies with high intelligence or low intelligence. A lot of adversaries are not going to fight to the death if they don't have a choice. If they have a choice in it, you always create villains who, play things intelligently. They may, for ego or for craziness or for a need to cause chaos or suffering, they may make mistakes in what they're doing, and the PCs can take advantage of that. But it's not to give them, it's not to give the players undue advantage and to make things more difficult for them. Another one is also doing world hopping, where you can go from world to world. Like if you're, and this is probably one of the examples they probably came up with this idea from, but in the module Queen of the Demon Web Pits, when you are in the Demon Web and you are trying to make your way to Lulth, you can get sidetracked into different worlds, and they came up with a system where, time can go go by differently when you're in this different world. Magic operates differently, technology operates differently, and things like that, just to make it more interesting. Um, excuse me. They have better codified rules and systems for magic item creation. Um, and then, of course, when you are actually going up against monsters, they come up with, the scions, which are these really god-touched or demon-touched or whatever touched you want to have versions of the classic monsters, which could have many more hit points, much lower armor classes, magical abilities, and so forth and so on, to give the players that challenge that they are going to need in order to, keep the challenge level up appropriate to their level.
Right.
Yeah, everybody knows about dealing with a troll. You don't know about dealing with a paragon troll.
Yes, absolutely.
Amen on that.
And they have charts for the paragons that have higher strengths and so forth. You actually can roll a 3d6, and when you roll high enough, you could actually have like a paragon. Let's say a paragon orc. So let's say like King Obold out of the Salvatore series. That he was a paragon of orcs. He was extremely smart, extremely strong, even for an orc. He had something close to giant strength. Even though Drizzt would still kick his butt, throughout the whole thing. But, Drizzt is the hero. They have these things in order. This was like the precursor to what they did with third edition, where all the monsters got strength stats. Of course, they got the intelligence stats and dex stats and so forth, and con stats, all the way through. This was the precursor to that.
True.
They probably drew that from this. This supplement came out in 1995.
Yeah.
So, second edition was still in its, right in the middle of its heyday. It wasn't towards the decline. I think that started in 1998.
True.
So, for example, a legendary monster, give one with for a Gorgon. Let's see, armor class -5, 23 hit dice, 105 hit points, THACO of 3. Let's see, the petrification breath, of course, affected by only +2 or better weapons. Immune to earth-based attacks, a magic resistance of 80%, and so forth and so on. And like I said, then they go on to spells. They give the rules for recovery of spells, which is something that needed to happen because the DM had to look through the DM's guide in order to find it. It was a little bit hard to find, and some players would think that just because they cast all their spells, they can just go right back into their spell book and start memorizing. No, you need a good night's sleep first.
Sure, go back to your spell book and recast it, and it disappears.
You want to do that, you have to use the appropriate spell. There is one.
Yes, there is.
But anybody who wants to recast it that way, fine. You lose the spell out of your spell book then.
Exactly. And you don't want to do
it's
that.
It's like casting a scroll. Same thing.
Exactly. So we covered that. Yeah, you can cast your spells directly out of your spell book. Yeah, but you lose them. Goodbye. You don't want that. So then,
usually don't want that.
No, exactly.
Sometimes need to. Yeah, even if the book goes boom.
Yeah.
I've seen books go boom before.
Yeah. And the mage
not
is very bummed.
Not a pretty sight. Well, you should see the mage afterwards. Three quarters of my hit points gone? Okay. Boom.
So let's see. They also have tables for magic item creation, which is much, much simpler. They give you the materials you need, like between common, rare, and exotic materials. The process is common or rare or exotic. And as you start going through, like potions are fairly easy by comparison to create. And then you have spell scrolls, protection scrolls, rings. You have single function, multiple function, limited use.
Multi-function staves, which
Yep.
I've discussed in the past.
Yes.
Proposed as an option
Mm-hmm.
to discuss.
Yep. It goes all the way down through, wand, staves, rods, miscellaneous magic items, armor, weapons, and yeah, this is a lot simpler to have for it. This, I think, just for this, I honestly think the magic item creation rules, I think this is worth the price of the supplement if your campaign is going in this direction.
Right.
Better this than the pages they wasted on magical duels, but I have my own opinions about that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it in Spells and Magic either.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of it either. I understand what they were trying to do, but I just don't think they did it.
My least favorite is in Combat and Tactics, the duel rules.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what is this?
Yeah.
I looked at the charts. What is this, an Arthur Murray dance thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a dance card.
Yeah, it's a dance card. I don't need a dance card to fight a duel.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I totally 100% agree. Yeah, they have plenty of rules for that. I'm not a big fan of it either, to be completely honest. Not to mention they give you some kind of weird kind of Highlander-ish benefit if you defeat another mage in a spell duel, which I don't particularly agree with. If you're gonna do Highlander, then do Highlander. In D&D, which you can do. But yeah, I mean,
I keep imagining either Kevin Kline or Bruce Willis killing the mage and then doing the old sniffing their armpit thing. It's like, I have his power. I'm good. Hail the king, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Or freaking Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat. Your soul is mine. You will be next. And they go into 10th level spells called True Dweemers, things like that, and how you can create one. But it takes a lot. It takes a lot to create one, and they give examples of spells. Like there's one called Colin's Undead Legion. You can actually innovate 200 hit dice of skeletons or zombies.
My colon's an undead region.
I don't need to know about that. So yeah, it's like I said, it takes it's like this ridiculously difficult spell to cast. But you get literally a army of undead, even though it is skeletons and zombies. And so, I mean, it's
bring me forth to the book.
Yeah. Let's see what else they do. Let's see. They explain saving throws, and they actually talk about how you can actually have automatic saving throw failure. You can actually decide not to resist whatever spell is being cast upon you, so you don't even have to make a saving throw. It actually goes into effect.
That's standard operating procedure for me.
Casting a spell on someone who's unconscious and things like that. Sure. So, I mean, it's an interesting book. I mean, I like it because it's got some codified rules and it's got some other things in place to make a high-level campaign, exist. They have the, what's the name? The chart to go to past level 20 all the way to level 30 if you want to. Of course, they have, I think that actually came out with Phase and Avatars first, but that's okay. They have those epic skills for high-level fighters, high-level thieves and wizards and so forth, which are actually really cool. I mean, they work like NWPs, but they give interesting bonuses, even though some of them are taken straight from martial arts stuff from like Oriental Adventures, which I thought was interesting. Yeah, I mean, then they have you know, things for priests, you know, going along with their divinity, like divine strength, divine voice, divine will, eminence. The rogues get like classified traps, you know, evasion, improvised attack, non-detection. Of course, you have to have like really high levels to get this stuff. Most of the skills the rogues have are at least 11th level and higher, you know. So, and it makes things interesting. It gives the high level characters those heroic abilities that we see in the movies so much, you know.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, the sweep attack made a comeback in this supplement, believe it or
Did it?
not. Yes, although it's an ability for fighters starting at level 10, I think. And it's like you can sweep enemies of 1 hit dice or less. So orcs, goblins, kobolds, things of that
I
nature.
know, that's
if
nice.
you're surrounded by them, you basically just turn a circle with your sword out and cut them all down. But as you increase in level, the hit die goes up. So I think it's like at 15th level, I think it's 2 hit dice. I think at 20th, it's 3. You
can Savage Worlds it, yeah.
Yes. I mean, like I said, it's just one of those things to make those heroic high level campaigns, you know, have that pop, so to speak.
The first time I saw something like that was in, remember Justice Incorporated? That's Hero. It's also now it's known as Hero. It's a Hero System. It's Pulp Hero. Mm-hmm. They came out with a book by Aaron Alston, Lands of Mystery. It's a supplement for Lost World Adventures for Pulp. That's the first time I saw Sweep. Mm-hmm. Because it's the whole classic thing like that. You know, in the pulps and the fantasy, you'd be able to wade your way through hundreds.
Yeah, you're trying to get to that wizard
with your sword or in this case, your gun. Mm-hmm. I got a Tommy gun. All right, let's go.
Just start spraying them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. You know, and I love it. I mean, this is great stuff. You know, this is great stuff. It's just stuff that, as a matter of fact, I think for my higher level NPCs, I started giving them some of these skills. You know, just more depending on what kind of character they were. But yeah, I started doing that just to give them that extra little, you know. Oh,
but speaking of sweeps and, you know, taking care of hundreds at a time, have you ever done this? This is the first time I heard of this in this book too, but the concept of like one hit monsters, 2-hit monsters, you know, like minions,
mooks and minions,
yeah. You ever done that? Because I started doing that in my hero games, and I happened to let out that I was doing that, and I never heard the end of their complaints about it.
Oh, because they got to wade through an ocean to get to their adversary. Okay.
Right, but it's like, oh, it's okay. He's only using one hit monsters. Mm-hmm. Now hit.
Yeah.
You know, or 2. Oh, these guys are 2-hit monsters. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, I had a DM who loved to actually do that. When we were like, I think when we all got around, I want to say like 6th level, he was like, "Good, now I can start throwing 3rd level fighters at you." You know, and he would actually do it when it came to fighting like wizards or clerics, where they would have those 3rd level fighter bodyguard / minions, and so to speak. And yeah, we had to deal with them, which of course delayed us to get, you know, from getting to the big bad, who would start casting spells and start, you know, doing all kinds of.
That's one of the precepts of the high level campaign that, in general, as I've always talked about. You know, whether you're dealing with this or you're dealing with paragon creatures or whatever, it still falls that the most horrible thing that you can do to a party, the most dangerous opponent you can put before a party, is not the Paragon Gorgon. It's an actual classed counter adventurer opposition. And when you start throwing that down, you've got actual fights on your hands.
Yep.
And I mean, I've done seminars worth of discussion on the fact that, you know, when you compare mooks, minions, fighters, whatever, whether you're dealing, and I've done the math to do the projections for what it takes to, you know, for a sci-fi game, for Star Wars versus something else, what it takes to be a qualified member of a standing armed forces out of basic training and on the field in general. You know, you're a 3rd to 5th level fighter class individual, not a thug, not a minion or whatever.
Right.
You have to have this where you can't meet the bare minimums of probability to accomplish known objective tasks.
Right.
Like skill qualification on a marksmanship range, you know. And then when you want to talk about having opposition being, okay, well, this is a party of mook stormtroopers, this is a party of 5th level stormtroopers, this is a squad of, you know, 10th level stormtroopers. That's when I pull out my black and white painted Space Marines from Warhammer and say, here are the stormtroopers that come around the corner, and people get the message.
Yeah, these guys are the SEAL teams, the elite airborne rangers. Yeah, these are the guys you do not want to mess with unless you're ready for them.
Unless you want to mess with them.
Yeah,
and, you know, invariably the murder hobos do.
Yeah, but being stormtroopers, they still can't hit anything.
That's why I've always made a mental note never to play a Star Wars game with Fawn, because I know he hates the fact that the average Imperial stormtrooper can't hit the broadside of a barn.
By the way, I'm going to give you one spoiler about Rise of Skywalker, just one.
Okay.
A stormtrooper actually hit somebody.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay, I'll let you find out how, why, where, but believe I was shocked. I didn't say they killed them; they hit them.
Well, they did in Return of the Jedi. Shot Leia in the arm. I mean,
I guess.
And they shot R2.
Yeah, they blasted R2. That's true.
I guess it's like once every trilogy one gets a hit.
No, it's true. You know, but yeah, I mean, I get it, but yeah, I mean, that's why that, if we're going to talk about Star Wars for a second, that's why in the RPG people started coming up with, full on being one of them, they started coming up with elite squads of stormtroopers. I mean, you didn't see them. I mean, they actually explained it in the Clone Trooper series Cameron Travis did. I like how they explained it and how the regular stormtroopers came to be. You know, I mean, and you know, all the clone troopers of the time looked at those guys with utter contempt because they were pathetic when they first came on the scene. But the thing was, they could be trained up to high standards if they survived long enough. Same thing with Imperial pilots.
Well, the droid troops weren't any better, so.
And half the time the droids were designed to be one-hit wonder mooks. That's the whole point of the droids.
Yeah.
They have numbers.
Yeah, look.
I don't care if I have 10,000. I don't care if they all have one hit point. I have 10,000 of them. When I roll 10,000 d20s, your character will get hit.
Yeah, that's true. Law of averages.
Okay. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Overwhelm them with numbers.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's the thing about a high-level game, and I took a page out of that DM's playbook because I'm like, you want to know what? It's true. You know, that's what most players absolutely hate and they absolutely dread, is to run into another adventuring party. As a matter of fact, when I ran my adaptation of Tomb of the Lizard King, long before you even get to the Lizard King, you get into this epic fight with not
the rest of the doors.
Mooks, not only mooks, but most of the officer corps. You know, most of them are mages, most of them are clerics, most of them are fighters, right around the character's level, and they're leading a squad of archers. They're leading a squad of flankers. They're leading a squad of front-line guys and mages in the back who have already had their protection spells cast if the party is not stealthy. That's the whole thing. That's what the whole adventure hinges upon long before you get to the end. If you are stealthy when you're going through the barracks, you can actually jump these guys before they have a chance to prepare. If somehow you give yourself away, they're going to be fully prepared and you are going to have a really hard fight because it's like, let's see, in my game I think it was like 6 PCs and 2 NPCs, and I think the odds were close to 9-1 against. And they were, and it was, and you want to know what? That fight was one of those things that my gaming group talked about for months afterwards because they had fun. They had
Good.
fun in that fight, you know.
Good.
But yeah, it's one of those things that it takes a DM to realize, hey, it's not just the opponent, it's what the resources the opponent has and how he uses them that makes things easy or difficult for the PCs depending. So yeah, I mean, being a high-level DM is not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. You know, if you want easy, keep everybody right around 5th level, and once they make 6th level, they automatically retire, start over. God, I would be so bored with that kind of game.
I think a 12 level cap would be great. Well, that's the kind of game I run because I'm too lazy to stat out anything. I just use monster stats.
Well, at least the thing is, at least you are honest enough to admit that. Most people aren't.
If I have to write an NPC up as a player character, that's too much work.
I've got it down to a science thanks to that 3x5 card that Full-On gave me. You know, I'm able to do NPCs within like 10 minutes apiece. It's not hard, you know.
And if worse comes to worse, you fire up your D&D Core Rules 2.0 and say, "Give me a 10th level mage."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
True.
Yep, and and everything's generated. Hit points, magic items, spell book. The spell book's the hardest part. I mean, at least from my perspective, the spell book's always been the hardest part to make. But yeah, with the Core Rules book, it makes it just one click, you're done.
I gotta get
spells and magic or your wizards compendiums are good for that too. They get some good spellbook rules in there. Pretty easy if you run through it. Mm-hmm. It's just tweaking them so that they make sense in the context of your adventure if necessary to plant certain spell abilities that you want in your encounter. Okay. You can shave it and shiver it and adjust it so they're not sitting there with, well, why has this guy got Snowlock Snowball? He's a fire mage. Random rolls.
Yeah.
No. You throw some common sense into your stuff, and you do that whenever you create anything. That's also why this is one of those, okay, it wasn't that well received, that widely acclaimed, because different people have different definitions of what constitutes high-level play, what's necessary to your game. All of these things, like all the other player's option, DM's option books, are not mandatory rules that shall be used from cover to cover without exception. The point is, purvey it, see if it strikes a chord with you, fills a need or a niche in your game, apply it as written or apply it as altered to suit, and enjoy. Yep. That's the point. Mm-hmm. For people who are either contested or intimidated by the concept of, well, these guys all got like 9 die fireballs when they cast them now and everything dies. Well, here's some ways to manage their expectations, give you some adventuresome opposition so it's not a cakewalk for everything anymore, and give you some limits with which to bind and bound stuff. And if you want to have those feed into further adventures, when you start talking about the true Dweemers, I've tried to build a whole campaign about stopping a true Dweemer from being cast. Because it was going to be one of those evil overlord adventures of doing all these things to compile all the components and the pieces and the parts to execute the casting. So there's opportunity for the players to intervene. Or they want to go start creating magic items, whether just because of legacy and mercantile needs, or they wanted to do something for a particular adventure. They sought how to go about making an item to fill a specific niche or need that they couldn't get from a regular adventuring. I mean, that's how they went around this one time, and they made a anti-psionic helmet out of an illicit head.
Oh yes, that
and
thing.
some other stuff that they threw in together with it. But there was reasons for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, reasons.
Marcus. Shh.
Not a problem, barely an inconvenience.
Right. No, I get it. And that's the whole, I mean, then those kind of things in a high level campaign, that's part and parcel of it. You're going to have not just the enemies making these very strange, powerful, and dangerous magical items that may be only like 2, maybe 3 steps below an actual artifact, but yeah, that's also something else the DM has to deal with. But in the end, it's just one of these things where if you have the moxie and have the ability to run a true high level campaign, then by all means, this supplement will give you the tips and tricks and ideas and inspirations to run a good high level campaign. But it also comes down to not only your ability as a DM, but the play style of your players.
And their buy-in.
Yep, and their buy-in, and the buy-in is important. You're right, Falon. You're absolutely
very
right.
much.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your basic DM's option. High level campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
You got a problem with it? Get a hold of us.
Come on,
talk to us. Do you use it? Have you used it? Tell us your tales of adventurers and epic gameplay.
Show us on the stuffed god where he touched you. No, that's not it.
No.
No. Sorry.
Oh,
if you want to do everything but that, THACOshammer@gmail.com.
Yes,
that was a different set of books.
Yeah. Let's leave that where it lies.
The Kama Sutra for D&D.
Mm-hmm.
D&D Kama Sutra. Yes. Okay.
Anyway.
Let's go on to Snipe.
We haven't done the Book of Vile Darkness. We can do the Book of Vile Darkness. That's a fun adventure supplement.
Oh my goodness.
You want to go to third edition? You want to go to third edition and go to Book of Erotic Fantasy?
I have it.
Okay.
You want to know what? That's where I got the healing sphere from. So yeah, it has a use aside from the obvious one.
All right, let's go on a snipe hunt.
Two fools who laugh at death. Do you know what horrors lie beyond that wall?
No.
Then you go first.
This world's divided into 2 kinds of people, the hunter and the hunted. Luckily, I'm a hunter. Nothing can ever change that.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
I'll swallow your soul!
Come get some.
Time for a snipe hunt.
Snipe hunt. Brass ball dragon.
Yeah, brass dragon. Yes.
Brass ball dragon. Brass dragon.
Yeah, they do have a set. It's true.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with that.
Well,
you really don't.
No, any dragon you really don't want to mess with, but you can deal. They can be mitigated or handled if you are clever enough, and maybe if you have that bard with the fast talking proficiency, maybe.
That's true. I mean, they are pretty brassy, so.
Yes, they are.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. They're found on arid deserts and plains. Hit intelligence is high. Their alignment is chaotic good with neutral tendencies because they are rather selfish creatures. Let's see. Armor class 0 base. Hit dice is 12. Let's see. Brass dragons are great talkers, but are not particularly good conversationalists. They're egotistical and often boorish. So yeah, they're usually talking about themselves, and basically you run across one of these guys, you have to be prepared for a time. Let's see. They often have useful information, but will divulge it only after drifting off the subject many times and after hints that a gift would be appreciated. Let's see. At birth, the brass dragon scale are dull. The color is a brassy mottled brown. As it gets older, the scales become more brassy until they reach a warm, burnished appearance. Let's see. Brass dragons would rather talk than fight. If an intelligent creature tries to take its leave of a brass dragon without talking to it at length, the dragon might have a fit of pique and try to force a conversation with suggestion spells, or by giving the victim a dose of sleep gas. If the victim falls asleep, it will awaken to find itself pinned under the dragon or buried to the neck in sand until the dragon's thirst for small talk is slaked. How about that?
So your role-playing tip here is to make them the snake from the Jungle Book. Got it.
Right, right.
I was more thinking of the Squire of Gothos.
Yes. Yeah.
Him too.
Yes. Trelane. Yes.
Either Trelane or Q.
Oh.
All the above work.
Yeah, either one works.
Well, wasn't Trelane, I think, established in the Trek novels, that Trelane was a baby Q.
No.
Yes.
No, actually he was not. It was a different race. The Q did not want to deal with them.
Got it.
Yeah, the book, I'm trying to remember which book it was, but they
I remember
dealt with
Trelane.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Trelane drove Q crazy,
yes,
basically.
He did. Yes, he went to Picard and said, will you please deal with him? I can't deal with him. He's driving me crazy.
I remember it said all Picard did was laugh.
Yup, that's all he did. Yeah, basically Trelane was an extremely powerful being, but he was only a child.
But so that's basically what brass dragons are, pretty much.
Yeah, that's a very good role playing template to go from. Okay. If the victim, if buried to the neck in sand until the dragon's thirst for small talk is slaked. Before melee, brass dragons breathe and create a cloud of dust with Dust Devil or control winds, then charge or try to snatch you. Brass dragons often use controlled temperature to create heat to discomfort their opponents. When faced with real danger, younger brass dragons will fly out of sight and then hide by burrowing. Older dragons spurn this ploy. Let's see. The brass dragon has 2 breath weapons. A cone of sleep gas, 70 by 5 at the dragon's mouth and 20 foot wide at the end. Or a cloud of blistering desert heat, 50 feet long, 40 feet wide, and 20 feet high. Creatures caught in the gas, regardless of hit dice or level, must save versus breath weapon or fall asleep for 10 minutes per age level of the dragon. Creatures caught in the heat take damage, save versus breath weapon for half. They cast their spells and use their magical abilities at 6th level plus its combat modifier. So the average brass dragon is 12 hit dice, so that's 12th level, or excuse me, 18. No, plus age modifier. I'm sorry, 12th level. I had it right. No, excuse me, 11th level. That's at 11th level, and it goes up and down depending on what age category they are.
Right.
They speak with animals freely, of course they do. Immune to fire and heat. As they age, they gain the following powers. Create or destroy water 3 times a day. That's when they're young. At juvenile, they cast Dust Devil once a day. Adult is Suggestion once a day. Mature adult, control temperature 3 times a day and 10-foot radius per age level. Old is control winds once a day, and a great worm can summon a genie once a week. Usually ask the genie to perform some service. Although the genie serves willingly, the dragon will order it into combat only in extreme circumstances, as the dragon would be dismayed and embarrassed if the genie were killed. So that's interesting unto itself. That could be an adventure plot right there. Be able to engage a brass dragon long enough to have him summon a genie for you. How about that? Let's see. They're found in arid, warm climates, ranging from sandy deserts to dry steppes. They enjoy the intense dry heat, enjoy spending most of their time basking in the sun. They lair in high caves, preferably facing east where the sun can warm the rocks in their territories. Always contain several spots where they can bask and trap unwary travelers into conversation. Wow. Let's see. They're very social. They're on good terms with neighboring brass dragons and sphinxes. They're dedicated parents. If they're young or attacked, they will try to slay their enemy using their heat breath weapons and taking full advantage of their own immunity. Because they share the same habitat, this is interesting. Blue dragons are brass dragons' worst enemies. Brass dragons usually get the worst of a one-on-one confrontation. That's true because blue dragons are much stronger than brass dragons. Mostly because of the longer reach of the blue dragon's breath weapon. That's true too. a bolt of lightning like 100 feet long or something like that. Because of this, brass dragons usually try to evade blue dragons until they can rally their neighbors for a mass attack. There's another adventure hook right there.
Yeah.
You guys are walking through the desert when all of a sudden a brass dragon comes flying out of the sky saying, I need you to help me take care of a blue dragon. I will pay you. Let's go. Get on my back right now. What do you do? Let's see.
I want to start an adventure with the party waking up in a brass dragon's lair and they don't know how they got there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because we were walking along the road and all of a sudden we all fell asleep. Well,
exactly.
I made that spell. It's one of the draconic magics. Monster summoning you.
Yeah. Well, in this case, he just like, oh, these guys look interesting.
Yeah, just ambushed them, breathe the sleep gas on them. Yeah.
Grab them, take them back to your lair,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk. Let's talk about me.
Hey, a high-level brass dragon with mage abilities who decides he's going to cast, say, guards and wards on the open desert steppes surrounding his lair to manipulate people to either go away or get funneled into his lair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Through the seeking shelter in the sandstorm plot,
Yeah. I mean, I hate to burst that bubble, but brass dragons are not good spellcasters. They're not like gold dragons or red.
What do you think he has the genie for?
There you go. Good. You
have
a good point.
You wake up in the brass dragon's lair and you say, let's talk a while. And after a while, he says, I got a job for you.
Yeah, exactly. After about 5 hours of small talk centered around.
First, I got a job for you, and this it'd be weird because you can have the campaign where he's the patron.
Yes.
Of the group.
Actually, you know something? I read some books by Salvatore. The books where Jarlaxle and Entreri were partners. Mm-hmm. They actually were in the employ of 2 female brass dragons.
Yep.
Nice.
Oh, I'm like,
They either if they're not out in the steppes in the wild, they can be in cities doing that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. They could you could split the difference and just say, that cantina at the Oasis that's always there because that's where that group is set up. Mm-hmm. That's the purview of a particular brass dragon who likes the stories in the cantina, the talking all the time.
And you said a pair of female brass dragons?
Yes.
That's like them doing lunch all the time.
Yeah, they're sisters.
Yeah.
I thought it was really, really interesting. It was an interesting story idea, one of probably Salvatore's best ones. But yeah, I mean, for role playing alone, this particular dragon is almost limitless. Just in role playing opportunity. Just the fact that they don't want to fight most of the time, they just want to converse, and most of the conversation is about them. They're very self-centered, and it's really difficult. It's just a pain in the butt to deal with a brass dragon to get what you need to get, whether it's bartering for an item or trying to find out some information. You basically have to play the dragon's game in order to do it, and nothing annoys PCs more than having to this is where having a bard and a good bard comes in handy.
Oh yeah.
Remember the Star Trek episode where most of the crew is on a starbase and the captain of the starbase is this one guy who is just obsessed with having small talk, and nobody wants to deal with him except for Data, and they just have small talk for hours and hours and hours, and everyone else is just looking at them like, oh my god, because they're just sitting there talking about absolutely nothing.
Right.
That's what I think of. When this comes about, just small talk and just nonsense and having to role play it out. This is where like I said, this is where having a bard would help a lot.
Oh yeah. Well, anyway, there's your brass dragon. Take your brass dragon, and it's cold as a brass dragon here. But anyway, more like hot.
Yeah.
But there it is, folks. Talk to us about it, would you please? THACOshammer@gmail.com. See how fast I did that?
Yes, you
Okay,
did.
let's get in brainstorm.
Now you tell me what you know.
Only the infinity of the depths of a man's mind can really tell the story.
What are you, a wizard, a genius?
DM Brainstorm.
DM Brainstorm, Lonely Lamia Inn.
Yes, indeed.
Let me guess. It only caters to Lamias.
I had ideas about the name. I had ideas about the name, but we could certainly discuss it.
Well, mine is always the bent nail. So, okay.
Always.
Yeah, I mean, there's the Bent Nail Saloon in my Western games. There's the Bent Nail Inn. Because I'm that kind of dirty-minded guy. Anyway.
Of course you are. Gee, I wonder whatever gave anyone that idea.
Okay. So what do we do with this play? Where do we put it?
Okay.
Is it a seedy bar, an upscale place? What?
I was thinking, I mean, this is just my idea, and you guys can...
A respectable...
No, that's too easy.
Hostel or something like that?
No, that's too easy. I was thinking it would be something like the Way Inn in Forgotten Realms, where it's like on this major trade road, somewhere maybe about halfway between two cities or two large cities, and it's like a very long distance between the two.
Oh, it's a roadhouse.
Yeah, roadhouse, but on a larger scale, catered to, so they can house caravans and so forth.
We could put it in Planescape and call it the Way Out.
Oh, you're good. You're fine.
But I'm bummed.
Yeah, the idea I had for how the name came to be is that the proprietor
is a lonely Lamia.
No, that's too easy. No. Too easy. Basically, a former adventurer whose personal tales and exploits are a lot more heroic and accomplishment driven than his actual career was. I mean, his whole thing is
he's been partified.
Yes, exactly. And not even that. This is what I was thinking. And most of the legends surrounding this place were started by him. Just going between the two towns and two cities and just planting these little rumors about how the inn is guarded by the spirit of Alamia. He did it more or less to begin with to kind of scare off potential bandit raids and so forth. Even though they still happen like once a year maybe. But yeah, most of the things he says is to discourage those to try to either raid the place, or try to invade the place to try and take it for their own as a base of operations. Sort of like that one adventure in Dungeon we covered several episodes back. Several dozen. And I was thinking, so a lot of the things that you are told when you're going from city A to city B, and it's like this journey of maybe like, let's say 100 leagues between the two, or not even 100, let's say 50, because a league is either 7 miles or 14. Which is it?
Well, I don't know if it's major league or minor league.
Oh, but you're on a roll, Glenn. You're on a roll.
Now, I don't know how. To tell you the truth, I don't know.
I always thought it was 7. You know what? I'm gonna look it up. Let me stop this.
It's 20,000
under the sea.
Jewels. Yeah, under the sea.
Oh God, stop, Glenn! You're killing me over here, literally. Let's see.
Oh, shall we do another show on the Lizard King? Yeah.
I'm the Lizard King. I can do anything. Anyway,
yeah, we break on through to the other side. Yeah, okay,
exactly.
Go ahead.
Now I'm looking it up real quick on my internet search. A league is unit like commoners. the original determination was how long a person could walk in an hour. Of course, there are many values attributed to it. Of course, there are. Let's see. In ancient Rome, is 1.5 Roman miles, or 1.4 real miles.
What is this over full on you put in here?
The English-speaking word is, at sea, it's 3 nautical miles. France says 2. Oh, this makes no sense. Anyway, all right.
That's subject matter for another
7 miles. Screw
brainstorm.
it. Yeah, screw it. I'm just gonna say 7 miles. Okay, so let's say there's like 100 leagues between the cities. It's like, by foot, it's going to take you the better part of a month to get through it. On horseback, it'll take you like 2 weeks or something along those lines. And that's if you're moving at a fair clip. Caravan will take probably about 3 weeks to a month to go between cities. So along this road between the 2 cities, the Lonely Lamia is more or less halfway between them. And despite all the rumors, most of the caravans stay there the night, although they usually end up, most of them who don't know any better, they usually stay, stay pretty much with their caravan. They don't go inside the inn, so the proprietor charges, like, let's say, 10 silver pieces a night per caravan wagon, to stay overnight. So he gets a little profit off of that.
So basically, you're making a truck stop.
Yes.
And at this truck stop, you have
with a motel,
a semi-fortified building, possibly with a wall and a compound, with limited spaces inside, and then greater outside fields where people make encircling encampments and move on the next day or whenever they move on.
Yeah, the overly suspicious, let's say. For those who actually know better or don't care about the rumors and try to find out, and go in there. Let's say, well, as far as the actual service, of course, there's going to be multiple rooms for them to stay in. Your typical really large inn. It's sort of like a truck stop with a Motel 6 attached to it. Directly attached to the truck stop. Which of course exists somewhere, I would think. So yeah, like I said, the proprietor was a former adventurer, but he didn't have a very long career. But he decided to tell everybody that his career may not have been long, but it's extremely well established.
That's what he tells the ladies, anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not very long, but very well established.
A location along a trade route. It's on an efficient road. It's probably got a good water source nearby. It might even have a small stream running, say, a mill wheel. That'll be a reason for it to be a multi-story structure.
Yep.
The mill wheel is also part of it. People going to a place bring their grain on their way to the place to get it milled into flour for sale at the place they're going to. So it's also a processing waypoint.
Okay.
It's also there also works, either he is or he works with a horse breeder, and they got a great stable there because you're in the middle of 2 places. You're going to need fresh horses.
Yeah.
And so if your horse is played out or something like that, you need a new horse. There's a guy right there that can sell you one.
Yeah.
And they work pasturage.
Plus he can, for a certain amount, take care of your horse for the night or whatever. Stables.
Yes.
You know what I keep thinking of?
What's that?
Once upon a time in the West, the tavern she stops at on the way to her, at the beginning.
Sharon Stone, you mean?
No, I'm talking about
that was another movie. Sorry.
But once upon a time in the West, the guy stops at this roadhouse type thing where it's a tavern, and it's like half of it is the stable. You can see the stables right over there. They're taking care of the horses, and then there's people over here. It's the bar. So that's what I'm thinking about. What it looks like, only with an inn attached to it too. A place to sleep.
Right.
Very rustic. Very
Yeah, I was thinking as far as the service went, it's middle of the road, or at least the common areas are middle of the road.
Right.
The uncommon areas and the higher price stuff is just things that you would have to speak like a code phrase to be able to access, and to be able to attain that code phrase, you would have to go to a particular inn in one of the cities, because there's only like one inn in either one of the cities that knows of this, and they're in league with the proprietor of this place.
Tolkien sent me.
Yeah, exactly. In each one of them gets kickbacks and so forth. It's like this whole, circular, reciprocal system they've got going on, where we could even say maybe that his zero-level younger brothers run the inns in either city. And they supply various, shall we say, entertainments and and this is the really high price stuff. This is sort of like a truck stop.
And it's out of the way, so what happens at the Lamia stays at the Lamia.
Exactly. It's sort of like a truck stop / flour mill /
fest hall, as they say in the realms.
A bunny ranch. So, yes, and that would be built into the lower level. Excuse me, not the lower level, the cellar, the level below the cellar, and with, of course, escape
where
tunnels.
the cockfights are.
No, I don't know if. Never mind. I was about to say something. I'm not going to go there. So yeah,
this is one of those things where you and again, some of this stuff might not necessarily be above board or known. Like the reason a place like this comes into being is because it's at a waypoint, a crossroad, a thing that is probably built on the ruins of something before, as a basis. So this was constructed on top of maybe something where there were not catacombs, not tombs, or an old holy site, an old temple was there and underground and fell and was built over, or the accesses to it got converted because it's easier to convert construction than make construction. And or he only saw it only go so far and didn't see the secret stuff beyond. So the foundation of the old temple is the cellar and basis of the inn as it is known. But if you get through the secret doors into the sub-level dungeon levels, you get into the temple proper, and in the temple proper you can have all kinds of debaucheries going on.
Oh yeah.
And that might even have different sections that they don't necessarily know so much about each other, where in this section, this is where the decadent foodie people go, and over here is the cockfighting people, and over here is the blood sport or the thieves guild people.
Yeah, here's the bear baiting over here.
Yeah, you're reading my mind, Fawn. That's exactly what
and
I was going for.
They have their own secret doors. They're not even necessarily mutually aware of each other until they expand into each other's territories and trip over each other, perhaps. And that's an adventure hook and source of conflict, as this previously innocuous way station gets thrown into chaos as the subversive elements or the literally underground elements come into conflict with each other, but want to keep the low profile.
Right. Because they have a really good thing going on here business-wise, and very few people who are not more or less vetted, or at least, or at the very least, granted very limited access. There could be multiple passwords depending on which side of the underground you want to go to. If you want to go to the Bloodsport arena, it's a different phrase. If you want to go to the decadent foodie thing, it's a different phrase, and so on and so forth. And meanwhile, while all of this is going on, potential clients are paying very high amounts in gold to the brothers in the cities, and all three of them are sharing in the profits, and they're making a fortune very, very quickly. Let's see. Now to start to throw monkey wrenches into it, let's say someone from a rather unscrupulous thieves guild finds out about this, and they're going to try to horn in on it. And now all of a sudden, in order to get these brothers to capitulate to their demands, like a 20% cut of everything that they profit from, clients start disappearing because they have agents inside of the inn, in pretty much every area. And every once in a while, when the guild master comes calling and says, look, you guys are going to give us this, or we're not even going to expose you because it's such a wonderful business, we're basically going to destroy it and all of your profits, and then once we're done with your business, we're coming after you.
I think I have a way also to make a set piece out of this that can build on the unification and the division of this.
Okay.
Where we talked about it being a mill with a water wheel.
Okay.
The greater building and the mill wheel straddle the river. The mill wheel is the centerpiece of the inn.
Okay.
Inside.
Okay.
And it has the east bank and the west bank building structures around that.
Oh,
and it's also
little skullport action, maybe.
Not even that. It's just the whole building is a rather large structure. The whole compound is a rather large structure. It straddles a small river, not a great river, but a river that has a need of a bridge, not just a ford.
Okay.
If you wanted to go to a ford, you go many, many miles out of your way through uncontrolled terrain and put yourself at risk of the monsters and the wilds and the things that are out there. If you want to go across the safe crossing, you come to the bridge.
Okay.
The bridge also has the mill. The mill straddles it. And that's why you can have one underground structure on one side of the river and another underground structure on another side of the river.
I keep thinking of those towns, like I think Atlanta or whatever. The towns were built on remnants of other towns. You can go underneath and see the undertown.
I've been in Atlanta. I've seen that.
That's what I'm thinking. Old Atlanta, I think they call it, or something.
Yeah.
But it's the same concept here.
Okay.
And that's also part of why the stuff is now, some of the structures are underground, is because they sink over time. It's not just that someone built an Underdark access here. You had a structure that was built in ancient times, slowly sank into the soft earth of the riverbanks, and was built over again, and lost to the history. And you have this layered structure over the river.
That one burned down, fell over, and then sunk into the swamp. But the fourth one stayed up.
See, we got you to do two.
Yeah.
Throw the bait out there and he shall come.
Bonus Monty Python there.
Exactly. Like I said, let's see, as far as their actual ability to defend this area, like I said, at least once every 2 to 3 months, humanoids start trying to raid them from the Badlands and hills to the north of the place.
Always.
Yeah, and I mean, it's to the point where it's just like almost everyone there is jaded. That means most of the people who actually work for this place have character levels. Most of them fighter levels. They may have a cleric for healing. They may have a couple of doctors to help. A couple of chirurgeons, that kind of thing. And of course, they have a fairly not a large force, but a rather experienced defense force. Skirmishers, archers, a couple of, like a squad of cavalry, like say 7 or 8. So they are very efficient in their defense. The problem is that let's say the leader of these humanoids could be like a gnoll, could be like an ogre or half ogre. You know what? Probably a half ogre. That actually makes more sense to me. Like a half ogre, he knows somehow, oh, actually, no, he's been told by the Guildmaster what's going on. And he's in league with the Guildmaster to put more pressure on the denizens of this place, of the proprietors, to crush it, not even so much crush it, but to wear it down and try to.
Let's have some fun with that.
Go ahead.
This band.
Mm-hmm.
The half ogre is the leader of the humanoid greater threat band of raiders. The raiders are a little bit kind of Hun-ish, and
are you
they
going
don't
Beastmaster on me.
Better.
Okay, go.
Velociraptor riding goblins, and the half ogre rides kind of a Allosaurus breed-ish.
Something
size.
big enough to carry him and still move quickly.
Yeah.
I was going to say they're on T-Rexes because they have kind of an inferiority issue.
Oh,
little guys, big dinosaurs. There we go. Hey, here's something else to help with the defense of the place.
Okay, what's up?
What if there's a nearby monastery, a monastery full of monks with martial arts?
Okay, I can. You know what? I can handle that.
And they work with the town or something.
Yeah. Basically, they are a more or less help the populace kind of thing.
Yeah, Shaolin type thing.
Yeah, Shaolin types for sure. But the problem is that the abbot of this monastery somehow actually he knows because one of his monks recanted his vows and joined the
Very good.
Inn. And so he has it in for the proprietor because somehow with his decadent ways he lured one of his more promising monks away from the monastery and got him to live as a normal human being again. So he would be part of the defense force, but he would be a Krillin type from Dragon Ball Z. He's an absolute pervert. he's a really good martial artist. He helps with the defense of the town, but he's gone through every female in the place several times. He's a pervert. So
his name Wu-Tang Dick. Don't kill yourself.
I tried to laugh and I started coughing instead. Anyway, so that's the connection to the monastery. Now,
so you got the monks help protect it too. So,
but the thing is that the abbot sometimes, because as a matter of fact, I can even do it this way because it's one of those monasteries that has all of the lawful alignments. The actual abbot is lawful evil. And
interesting.
And the thing is that he will only assist the inn if he's directly asked. And the thing is that it offends his personal sensibilities to the point where he will withhold assistance until almost the very last moment. So yeah, the monks come charging over the hill when things are not looking so great, and then they end up turning the tide most of the time. Now,
and he gets the glory for saving the town. Yeah.
And yes, he almost directly demands a rather large recompense for providing this assistance.
The reason the monks are not normally involved with the whole raiding humanoids on the steps thing is because they're actually downstream on the river, where the river goes a little bit more marshy. They're actually like they sustain themselves. You've heard about the winemaking monks and stuff. These are rice monks, rice and frogs. They're swamp monks.
Okay.
So they live down in the bogs. And they do all their hopping from, crane hopping from pedestal to pedestal training and whatnot. So they've got a unique environment where they've done this place to have their isolationism and still be able to do some trade. And they get their, freshly fertilized river water from the inn that flows down and keeps their crops fertile and fresh and nutrient rich.
Very good.
I like that. Okay, so
the ecology of dungeon mastering, damn it.
Exactly. Take note, people. Not everything just exists in a vacuum. We're creating this from nothing, and we're trying to make it make sense.
It's full on. Take note and despair.
Yeah.
I didn't say that they were gnomish monks.
No.
Want me to?
Oh boy, no, we don't need to go that far. Okay.
A lawful evil gnomish monk.
Oh jeez, yeah, I can. Yeah, there's an outlier if
With
there
a
ever was one.
huge twirly mustache.
Oh no,
kind of
it's
like
not.
Pai Mei, except horizontal.
Yeah, Pai Mei, except he's like under 3 feet tall. Sure.
Hey, it's Wario of the Fist.
Anyway, let's see. Okay, so where the players come in. The easy thing to do would be to, the players are like, say, going from city A to city B or vice versa, and they go to this inn for, for resupply and rest and relaxation, 3 R's. The thing is that one of the thieves, it has a somewhat secret mission, and depending on, what the player decides to do, he can either scout the place out for the Thieves Guild, knowing that they're trying to take the place over, or he could just, mislead, or it depends on what he does. But while the players are staying there for a couple of days, let's say they're doing the oh so wise thing of trying to relocate from one spot to another in the middle of winter. Instead of just staying in the city they're in and waiting for the snows to melt like most sane people would do. So let's say they've been staying there for a couple of days, and of course the humanoid raiding band comes calling.
Oh yeah.
And of course the players are either out of the goodness of their hearts, or
a lot of money,
or for some payment, they'll help in the defense of the place. Now the problem is that this inn and everything around it has a lot of square footage.
Yes, it does.
A lot of acreage. It can't even say square footage, acreage. I'd say this thing is like, what, 15, 20 acres?
Wow.
This is a big plot of land. And
huge tracts of land, yes.
Huge tracts of land, yes. Jeez, you had to say that. So while all this is going on, you meet the monk who's more or less in charge of the armed forces protecting the place. Because he's become, in the space of a few years since he recanted his vows and came to this place, because he's a horn dog, but he's also really good at fighting, and he's really good at tactics. So you go to him, he tells you, okay, go over here. They're probably going to try to go and steal the horses or set them free to provide a distraction, blah 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 blah. Go over here and defend that. So that gives the players a little bit of motivation to get into this and to get into the fight. And then after it's all over, said and done, the humanoids are sent packing, but at some cost, some of the defending force has been lost in the fight, of course. The proprietor comes to you a little bit later, tries to hire you on.
Let's keep this down a little bit lower than that. They haven't done any major. This isn't a major raid against the structure of the inn or the bridge.
Okay.
This is outlying raids on the caravans that have chosen to camp off campus.
Okay.
So in the surrounding campsites, there is a uproar as raiding starts to hit not every night, but every couple of nights or every full moon. They, the camps the outlying camps get raided.
Right.
And that causes a rush towards those that want to retreat inside the walls, and there's not enough room for everyone. So there's always going to be somebody outside unprotected.
Okay, and they would be charged with that caravan or whatever it is defense. Okay, I'm cool with that. That works. So
and it can escalate to later. This way you can have like the the raptor riding goblin raiders just come in with a party of like 5 to 9, a small raiding group of
Right.
such, just a hit and run. They haven't even gotten to the Allosaurus and the half ogre yet. That comes much later in the escalation.
Mm-hmm.
If they turn it into a confrontation.
Okay. All right. And as is a pretty recurring theme when it comes to brainstorms, and we make these regions or areas. Of course, at some point, the proprietor is always looking to expand his business, which means they're trying to go lower into the ground. And sooner or later, one of his excavation parties is going to find something that they were not meant to find. And for a good reason. Now, that could be any...
Well, that temple was built on top of a holy site, unholy or holy site region for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And even maybe, perhaps, no, I hate using it because it's so tropish now. We've done it so many times. But I was thinking that maybe somewhere in that temple complex at the very bottom that they start... what is it? How should I put this? As they start excavating
Retreating?
into this lower level, into this temple, they start finding unholy symbols to a particular deity, maybe even
Satan?
Sverfneblin.
No, that's
go for the deep gnomes.
That works out for them. Sverfneblin are good people. No, I was thinking Dorgar.
Not all of them, and they are Underdark people.
All right, Darrow.
Oh God, Darrow. Darrow are just crazy. I was thinking Dorgar. They find like a temple of how you pronounce his name, Ladugar or Ladugger or something like that. I have to look it up, but he's basically a temple. He's basically the deity of Dorgar, and and as they find that, and they start bringing up these Dorgar-made items and so forth, and at some point they may even run afoul of a clan of let's say degenerated Dorgar or something like that. They're in that, and if they kept digging down, it would start going into the Underdark.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking, because at some point they're going to have to send experienced adventurers down into that place to probably seal it off, because if they find out that that it just keeps going down lower and lower, and they get past that temple.
Hey, the Drow don't get to have they don't get to control all of the access points of the surface. Maybe it actually is a straight up Duragar. There is an actual path to a Duragar kingdom outpost, whatever, and this is their surface trade route.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
No, neither do I.
The Duragar do trade from time to time with above ground civilizations, even though it's done carefully on both sides.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I like that. Let's see. Anything else we could add in to make this thing a little more intriguing? I think we've done quite a bit to make it intriguing.
You have both. All of you have.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sirree. So what do you think, folks? We want to hear this being used.
Let's see. There's got to be something that turns into a the half ogre and his goblin dino riders are actually being orchestrated by things a little bit more nefarious, and at some point you're going to have infiltrators, doppelganger infiltrators, inside the greater structure, and there's going to be some kind of confrontation and set-piece battle that happens in and around the mill wheel across the river.
Okay.
Of course.
I like that. Yeah,
so you're going to have your big Pirates of the Caribbean rafter fight through and around the different tiers of the interior structure across the river.
With hippogriffs and riders attacking from the air. Yes.
No, this is an indoor bar fight.
Oh, okay.
But this is the indoor bar fight with the industry of the mill wheel around it, as they're like trying to poison the mill grain or something like that, or some kind of a captured or an interrupted infiltration. Or just trying to get the doppelgangers in there to work their way in and start murdering their way into controlling positions.
Yeah.
So you've got the and who controls things like doppelgangers? Who sends doppelgangers to do their bidding to cause this infiltration? Who can actually control them?
Greater doppelgangers.
There you go.
Simple.
See, there's one of those deities is called the Faceless One. Which one is that?
Oh my goodness, you would ask me that. Yeah, because he is an actual deity in doppelgangers. I think All Dragon did a run, gave him the phase of Avatar's treatment, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but I don't think he was an actual doppelganger deity. He's somebody else's deity, but the priest, because again, we're dealing with a place that was built on the ruins of an old temple, and the ruins of the old temple was dark enough to be doing trade with Duragar. So this old dark temple that used to be into Duragar trade has some worshippers, the Faceless One's worshippers, who are trying to orchestrate the disruption of this trade route and reclaiming their unholy site for something that they needed to get done for prophecy reason, and everybody's in the way now with this big truck stop on top of it.
And they're trying to clean it out, but with it being doppelgangers, they don't do things. Blatantly. They do it secretly. That's true.
Oh yeah.
Well, the problem is that using doppelgangers it would almost make things almost too easy. As a matter of fact, let's go with that. But let's
make them swashbuckler doppelganger assassins.
No, I was thinking that this is also a very recent development that only your pervert monk head of security and the proprietor are aware of. In that, and they don't know what to do about it because they don't know. They're starting to, everyone's starting to, they're starting to get a little paranoid because they don't know who is who. They don't know who has been infiltrated by a doppelganger because they are able to take the role of people with such convincing, with such convincing regularity that
possibly one or two of the doxies.
Oh yeah.
Possibly, the traders, the Mill family who's into the grain, because somebody actually runs that for them. The traders who deal with the merchandise transactions, the stable runners who deal with the herds of the wild horses that they have to protect from the dino riders, and the intrusion of the bodies that end up getting dumped in the river, that flow down river and end up in the rice fields, are what draws the attention or the ire of the rice monks when they start getting their rice wine and frogs corrupted by dead bodies in the river.
Yeah. That's
because how else do you get rid of the bodies? But you dump them in the river.
Yeah. Unless you just pile them up in a spot in a particular, far corner of the area and just burn them. I mean, like Riders of Rohan did when they killed all those orcs. They just basically piled the bodies up and set them on fire.
That's right.
Well, depending on which agency, if the doppelganger gets into the cooks, there's another thing that can happen to the bodies.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, jeez, you would have to say that. You would have to go that.
Absolutely, I would say that.
Ugh, yuck, 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 yuck. Bleh. Ugh. But yeah. So as
Passing Paladin gets served a meat pie, and suddenly unwittingly loses his paladin hood and doesn't know why?
I wouldn't go that far, but he would certainly have to atone because now all of a sudden all of his abilities don't work.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's like, why? All I had was a meat pie for dinner. Maybe you should look into what they're using for meat. Yeah, but the problem is
Soylent Green is made of paladins. Anyway, that should give you guys enough to work on.
Yeah.
So if you guys use this, and you will use this, let us know how it goes at THACOshammer@gmail.com or
405-806-0555.
Fantastic. Let us close this splat book on a high note. All right. Say goodbye, Philip.
All righty, Gamer Nation. This has been a wonderful delve into the mindset and the dark reaches of our thoughts and prayers for your wondrous adventure. Tell us how they lift you up, break you down, and keep you going.
Brian?
And just remember, folks, just beware of which doxy you sleep with because, yeah, you might end up, if not dead, not dead, then wishing you were dead. And cure disease isn't going to help you.
And the doxies are what lifts and separates your adventure.
So to speak.
So to speak. And so I'm DM Glenn saying, we'll see you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer. Bye-bye. Bye-bye is right. THACO's Hammer theme is provided by the Diablo Swing Orchestra. You'll find them on Jamendo.com. All other additional music for this episode was provided by Kevin MacLeod. You'll find more of his music on Incompetech.com. Be sure to visit our website at THACOshammer.info. If you have any questions or comments, email us at THACOshammer@gmail.com. Remember, that's an O, not a 0. You can also find us on the second edition forums at osrgaming.org and at purpleworm.org. Or give us a call and leave us a voicemail at 405-806-0555. See you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer.